On OSRC News at 7, communities in flood-prone areas call for permanent solutions as flooding submerges homes. Tinubu activates emergency response center as death toll rises amid Niger State flooding. Government launches enforcement operations to curb illegal sand mining in Ondo State. From the foreign scene, Central Canadian provinces declare state of emergency as hot weather sparks massive flames. Good evening and welcome. This is OSRC News at 7. My name is Oyewumi Ayinigbara. Flood-prone communities are feeling the impact of the heavy rainfall. In Ayedun and other affected areas of Ondo State, residents are grappling with flooded homes and impassable roads. Blessing Obi reports.
The rainy season means different things to different people. For farmers, it's a season of growth and abundance. But for residents of flood-prone areas, it brings fear and uncertainty. This is Ayedun community in Akure South local government area of Ondo State, a place where the rainy season often spells disaster. For residents here, the story is the same every year. As the rain intensifies, so does the flooding.
Ó ṣe máa ń rí tọ́jọ́ bá ti rọ̀ ó lágbára oníkálukú máa ń dúró sílé ni bórọ̀ kó tó di pa àwọn oníṣẹ́ ìjọba ń lọ gan wọ́n ti parí iṣẹ́ ọjọ́ yẹn nìyẹn so báwọn ọmọ iléèwé ò tí ì lọ wọ́n ní lọ léèwé kò sẹ́ni tó lè kọ́ ọmọ sójú ọ̀nà báyìí tó ní kó nìkan máa lọ níbí so ìṣòro tó máa ń fún wa ó lágbára jù gbogbo ilé ni omi tì mí títì kò sí ilé kankan tí ò fara kan.
ẹ̀ẹ̀kan ṣoṣo lẹ rí tó ìrọ̀ báyìí o kò tí ì pẹ́ méjì kò tí ì pẹ́ mẹ́ta èní kan ṣoṣo tó sì máa rọ̀ lórí bí eléyìí báyìí tó ti ń wọnú ilé yìí.
Following recent heavy downpours, homes along Adebola Street in the Enyala axis have been submerged, leaving families stranded indoors. Roads are now nearly impassable, posing serious risk to lives and property.
This particular street is from Madi Super side down here like this, but when it gets to this place, because there is no proper channelization, the same will spread. It will cover everywhere at least now, because the rain that rain in the morning, see the outcome now. It subsided small, it will be going gradually till it will get, but there is no bank, it has overflowed every side, both sides of the, so we need the proper channelization of this river. If it can be done, we beg the government to please help us. All of us that have property here, we are at the risk, at a terrible risk. We know that the whole thing will get to this level. They should please help us.
Ẹ̀wọ̀n sí ìjọba ni pé kán jọ kán bá wa ṣe kán bá wa tètè ṣe kán jọ kó mi má gbé wa lọ.
Residents say the flooding is often triggered by the overflow of the Ala River and the lack of a proper drainage system, factors that push overflow water into homes and across major roads. They are calling on the government to provide a lasting solution before the situation worsens. Meanwhile, an excavator has been deployed to dredge the water channels, part of an effort by the Ondo State government to mitigate the recurring problem.
I want to tell them that the remaining places we are going to address it. So, and as you can see now, the water is moving and there is not any flood. And I promised the good people of Akure before that this year, nothing like flood.
The government says progress is being made and promises speedy completion of the project. But until then, residents can only hope the rains hold off long enough for lasting solutions to take effect. Blessing Obi, OSRC News.
Meanwhile, the death toll from the recent flood disaster in Mokoa, Niger State, has risen to over 100. Deputy Governor Yakubu Garba, who visited the affected communities for an on-the-spot assessment, revealed the updated casualty figure. He stated that the flood, which struck following a torrential downpour on Wednesday night, has left a trail of destruction in its wake. Addressing displaced residents at an internally displaced persons IDP camp, Gariba urged patience and assured victims that the state government under Governor Umaru Bago is working to provide more relief materials and long-term support. The deputy governor also issued a warning against the construction of buildings on waterways, emphasizing the need for residents to respect natural drainage routes to prevent future disaster. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has directed activation of the National Emergency Response Center in Niger State following flash flooding in the Central West that killed at least 115 people. In an overnight statement, the president said his directive was necessitated by a briefing from the National Emergency Management Agency NEMA on the need to scale up urgent humanitarian responses to meet the needs of victims. President Tinubu, who extended heartfelt condolences to the affected families and the people of Niger State, also directed security agencies to assist in the emergency effort. He assured that all those impacted by the incident will receive support from the federal government. And President Bola Tinubu has issued a new executive order designed to lower project costs, attract investment, and enhance revenues from oil and gas operations. Office of the Special Advisor to the President on Energy and a statement noted that the upstream petroleum operations cost efficiency incentives Order 2025 introduces performance-based tax incentives for upstream operators who deliver verifiable cost savings that meet defined industry benchmarks. The statement said the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission will publish these benchmarks annually according to terrain onshore, shallow water, and deep offshore. To ensure effective implementation of the new order, the statement said the President has tasked the Special Advisor on Energy to lead interagency coordination, ensuring alignment across key government institutions and translating policy intent into measurable outcomes. The statement noted that the new order builds on the administration's 2024 presidential reforms directives, which delivered improved fiscal terms, shortened project timelines, and aligned local content policies with global best practice. In education, the federal government has proposed the establishment of National Examination Malpractice Court or Tribunal for prompt prosecution of examination malpractices in the country. Minister of Education Olatunji Alausa affirmed the recommendation of the 17-man committee headed by Professor Ishaq Oluyede, Registrar of the Joint Administrations and Matriculation Board (JAMB), as chairman on improvement of the quality of examination in Nigeria. The committee, which the minister inaugurated in January this year, submitted its interim report on Friday after about 5 months of intensive work, coming up with far-reaching recommendations aimed at improving the quality of examination and curbing examination malpractices in the country. Alausa, in his response, assured the committee members that all the 12-point recommendations will be implemented, saying government would deploy all its machineries to fight the menace of examination fraud in Nigeria. The All Progressives Congress (APC) in Ondo State has refuted the baseless allegations made by the People's Democratic Party regarding the governance of the state under the leadership of Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa. The All Progressives Congress, in a statement by its Director of Media and Publicity, Steve Otaluru, described the claim presented by the PDP as a desperate attempt to undermine the progress the present administration have made in just 100 days of governance. The statement clarified that Governor Aiyedatiwa has fulfilled the constitutional provisions regarding the appointment of members of his cabinet upon assuming office, having appointed key cabinet members who are currently engaged in the critical work of governance. The ruling party noted that the governor is in the process of appointing additional members to all the portfolios, a task that requires careful consideration and due diligence to ensure that the best candidates are chosen to serve the interests of the people of Ondo State. The statement noted that the PDP's claim of a lack of transparency is a projection of their own failings during their time in office, while stating categorically that the Aiyedatiwa administration is committed to transparency and accountability. The APC also described the assertion of misappropriation of public funds as false and slanderous. The ruling APC therefore urged the opposition party to focus on constructive criticism rather than unfounded allegations. The statement added that the APC is committed to delivering its promises and ensuring that the state thrives under the leadership of Governor Aiyedatiwa. You're still watching OSRC News at 7. After the break, we'll bring you more stories. Please stay. Thank you very much for rejoining us. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng, or follow us on Facebook at OSRC TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV Ondo. As part of efforts to tackle the surge in illegal mining, the Ondo State government, through its Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, has visited sand mining sites in the Bobini community of Eseodo local government area. The move is aimed at regulating unlicensed operations and safeguarding the state's natural resources from further degradation. Blessing Obe brings us the details.
Sand mining has become a lucrative business across Africa. It is the second most exploited natural resources after water and plays a crucial role in the production of glass, concrete, and bricks. However, in many parts of Nigeria, the rise in illegal sand mining is raising concerns. This is the Oluwa River in Igbobini, Eseodo local government area of Ondo State. Once a peaceful waterway connecting the community to Okitipupa, it has now become a hotspot for illegal sand extraction. These activities are damaging aquatic ecosystems, increasing erosion risk, and threatening both lives and property. In a bid to curb this menace, the Ondo State government, through the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, led by the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Mining, Folawe Sipasi Aluku, launched an enforcement operation to assess and address the situation.
These states will not take any form of illegal. And as for the today operation, we have put it on hold till when the necessary documentation will be done for the people to start their operation. Not for anything, but for the people and the properties of the people living in that community.
Director of Mineral Resources in Ondo State, Abiodun Jones, emphasized the economic implications of illegal mining, noting that it robs the state of vital revenue.
All over the world, sand mining is a major issue. So they have been facing it, and it has been the people that are engaging in this, they are mafia. So there are penalties for this activity. If you are doing something that is wrong, that you are not registered, they are doing something that they are not registered with the ministry, they are not regulated, they don't have a mining title, they don't have the required document for them to operate. Even the EIA, they don't do environmental impact assessment for them to be able to know the impact of what they are doing. And maybe in the future, maybe the mitigation measures to be put in place for the damage that will be caused to the environment that will restore back to normal.
As environmental concerns continue to mount, the Ondo State government is reaffirming its commitment to eliminating illegal mining and protecting its natural resources. Blessing Obi, OSRC News.
After over a century since they descended from their ancient abode atop the iconic Oke Idori, the people of Idori are now rebuilding the relics of the homes where their ancestors lived for thousands of years. These efforts are taking place even as most now reside in modern settlements like Odode, Alade, and Atoshin. In this is this a symbolic reconstruction like the rebuilding of the biblical walls of Jerusalem, or are these preparations for the vibrant annual Orosun festival? Whatever the motivation, one thing is clear: indigents of this historic town are taking it upon themselves to revive and preserve one of the Nigeria's most breathtaking tourist attractions, long neglected by the state. To our viewers, if you have never been to Idori Hills or it's been a while since your last visit, don't miss our special reports this Sunday on OSRC Social and Community News. We will take you through our crew's fact-finding journey to the heart of Oke Idori. Exercise was held across Ondo State today with strict enforcement. OSRC's crew went around Akure, the state capital, to see the level of compliance to the exercise. The report is presented from our studios.
The monthly environmental sanitation exercise in Ondo State is aimed at promoting cleanliness and public hygiene across communities. This edition of the exercise witnessed an appreciable level of compliance across the state. Environmental officers were on the ground to ensure residents complied with sanitation regulations and to ensure the restriction of movement order issued by the state government between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. A visit to some part of Akure, including Arakale Road and the NEPA area, showed a level of cleanliness. However, the situation was different in areas like Oyangbulem, Oloko and Elisha Garage, where heaps of refuse were seen scattered along the streets. At Adeyeye Araromi community and at Abiu Local Street in Akure North local government area, residents lamented the poor condition of their roads, saying they have resorted to self-help efforts.
20 years now we have been domiciled here. We have been the residents of this environment, Adeyeye Araromi community, and we have faced a lot of unabated issues of our road, specifically to cross to the other part of this community. And we have connectivities of doing things together, but this road has been a very serious problem confronting us in passing through, especially during the rainy season. So we don't have any chance to pass through here during the rainy season.
Bíríjì tí ẹ ń wò tí a péjọ lé lórí yìí, àwọn àdúgbò ń bí a ti gbìyànjú ní oríṣiríṣi, a dẹ̀ ti ná ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ owó ní ibẹ̀. Tí ẹ bá wò rí pé a ti ṣe àwọn kan bẹ̀ tó jẹ́ pé kò ṣeé rìn mọ́ fún wa, a dẹ̀ ti ná owó sí orí ibẹ̀ yẹn dáadáa tó jẹ́ pé ó tún ti fẹ́. So ìyẹn ní orí nísàlẹ̀ pé bóyá a lè ṣe.
They appeal to the government to come to their aid.
Kálukú ti try agbára wọn, àkàìmọye owó tá ti ná. Àwa obìnrin bá ń bọ̀ láti ibiṣẹ́, bá ń bọ̀ látọjà, a lè rọ́nà kọjá tójò bá ti ká wa mọ́ sẹ̀lẹ̀, a lè rí ibi kankan kọjá. Ó tún di ọjọ́ kejì, ẹ̀mí ò lè jẹ́ rọ́nà bá tu Àdó garage látún gba wọlé níbi bíi. Ìdojúkọ wa pọ̀.
Tí a ń bẹ̀ ìjọba ni pé kí wọ́n jọ kí wọ́n ràn wá lọ́wọ́ lórí ẹ̀ because àwọn ọmọ wa ò lè kọjá bí òjò bá ti rọ̀ nísìn gbogbo ẹ̀ máa kún pátápátá ni. A ti ẹ̀dúpẹ́ pé a ti rí pé bóyá ó gbéyàn kankan lọ ni. Àwọn èèyàn ń jábọ́ sínú bíbà yìí dáadáa. Ládùúgbò ń bí sìn, a ní àwọn iléèwé sí bíbà yìí. Bójò bá ti rọ̀, ó di pé àwọn tó bá ti lè wọlé kójò tó rọ̀ wọn ò ní lè jáde wá. bójú bá dẹ̀ káwọn èèyàn mọ́ bí wọn ò ní lè jáde wá àbí pé wọ́n fẹ́ wá sí school ń bí.
I can say it's at the epicenter of both Akure North and Akure South. So if government could come to our aid of helping us to construct this road, developmentally, a lot of project, a lot of activity will spring up in our domain here. So we are seeking for government intervention.
OSRC also visited the Federal Government Girls College area in Akure, where residents have turned a major road into an illegal dump site. Shortly before the end of the 3-hour exercise, waste management vans were sighted evacuating debris from affected areas.
The World Health Organization, WHO, has revealed that the new COVID-19 variant NB181 is causing more infections worldwide. WHO stated that the rise in cases is primarily in the Eastern Mediterranean, Southeast Asia, and Western Pacific regions. The new strain was designated as a variant under monitoring by the WHO last week, while the U.S. Centers for Disease Control, CDC, confirmed a small number of cases circulating in the United States. This variant has also been detected in travelers arriving in the U.S., including in California, Virginia, Washington, and New York. First detected in late January, MB181 is a descendant of the Omicron JN1 lineage and has seen a sharp rise in global cases in recent weeks. The organization stated that the recent increases have been observed in 4 countries and areas to date, particularly in Cambodia, China, Hong Kong, and Singapore. Troops of the Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Ardinkai have apprehended 41 soldiers, police personnel, and traditional leaders for allegedly selling arms and ammunition to terrorists and other enemies of the state in the northeast and other zones in the country. The Nigerian military also expressed concern over the observed increase in cases of collusion by some non-governmental organizations who convey additives and food items to terrorist locations under the guise of humanitarian assistance. The military high command further revealed that the troops apprehended 18 soldiers, 15 policemen, and 8 traditional rulers selling arms to non-state actors. The theater commander, Major General Abdusalam Abubakar, explained that the operations were conducted across 11 states, with suspects arrested in Bauchi, Benue, Borno, Emoyi, Enugu, Lagos, Plateau, Kaduna, Rivers, Taraba, and the Federal Capital Territory. And now we move to the foreign scene. Officials in 2 Canadian provinces say wildfire conditions are unlike anything faced before. Exceptionally dry and hot weather has stoked massive flames in 2 central provinces. Wura Olami Olanikbekun has the reports.
Wildfire are sweeping across the forests and prairies of central Canada, with more than 17,000 people being evacuated and clouds of smoke drifting thousands of kilometers across the country and far into the United States. In Manitoba, wildfire is threatening the mining town of Flin Flon, population 5,000. The provincial premier volcano issued an urgent warning to small isolated indigenous communities.
If you are in Flin Flon, please go to Winnipeg. If you are in Pimicikamak or Puckatawagan, listen to direction from your local leadership.
In Saskatchewan, 2 large fires merged, burning more than 2,100 square kilometers in the province's northeast. The provincial government have deployed all of their firefighting resources, and outside help is coming in. Alaska has sent an air tanker, Quebec is sending 2 water bombers, and firefighters are coming from Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island. The Canadian military is airlifting residents out of the wildfire zones. Fires are also burning in the Alberta oil and gas extraction zone, disrupting production there. Weeks of unusually hot and dry weather, a trend worsened by human-caused global warming, have helped intensify the blades. Towering plumes of smoke visible of outer space are now blowing across the border into the U.S. states of Minnesota, Michigan, and southward into Illinois and Indiana. Air quality alerts have been issued into some of these states, meaning people should avoid outdoor activities, and others with lungs or heart conditions should stay indoors. Cities including Detroit and Chicago are expected to see worsening smoke and haze, which will spread over the coming days to the East Coast as far as Washington, D.C. Wuraolami Olanipekun, OSRC News.
The UN Refugee Agency estimates more than 500,000 Syrians have returned home from neighboring countries since the fall of Bashar al-Assad in December. Roughly 170,000 are from Lebanon, where the government hopes the lifting of U.S. sanctions will help Syria's recovery and facilitate more returns. But many say they have nothing to return to. Kemisola Ojomo has more.
As a refugee in Lebanon, Imnajim no longer has a reason to fear returning to Syria since the fall of Bashar al-Assad's regime, but her family is from Homs and much of the city has been destroyed.
We felt free when his regime fell. They deprived us of our country for so long, but there's nothing to return to. No homes, no jobs.
For years, millions of Syrians have crossed into neighboring countries and beyond to escape war and persecution. Dismantled tents tell the story of those who are making their way back to a still fragile nation which struggles to provide basic services. 14-year-old Nuf's family is among those planning to return soon.
I'm so excited to go to Syria. I'm not seeing Syria all my whole life. I live here. I'm going to...
Since the fall of the Assad regime in December, there are still a minority of those living abroad, and those who have gone back have been replaced by a similar number of new arrivals. Lebanon has long called for refugees to return to Syria and believe conditions that push them to leave no longer exist. But the United Nations says decreasing aid is affecting its humanitarian operations in Lebanon and Syria.
We're all trying to, in the assistance community, trying to step up inside Syria.
A long process. The country is still an early stage of recovery from its civil war, and reconstruction has yet to begin. But many refugees here say they now at least have hope of an end to their life in exile. Kemisola Ojomo, OSRC News.
A ghastly auto crash has claimed the lives of 19 persons returning from the National Sports Festival NSF in Ogun State earlier today. The fatal accident reportedly occurred in Daxtali town, about 50 kilometers to Kano, involving members of the Kano State contingent who were returning from the just concluded National Sports event. The chairman of the Sport Writers Association of Nigeria, Swan Kano State Chapter, Zaruddin Saleh, who confirmed the incident, said those who died included athletes, journalists, medical personnel, and administrators. And that's the news tonight.